I just spent $445 on a Fuji 1.4 times teleconverter to see if I could get closer to joy. I have conclusive tests. I did science in my living room to see, is it sharper really than just zooming 1.4 times in post? You lose some ISO abilities. We found some stuff.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
I wish you luck today, Sony Auto White Balance. We have window lighting, gray, cloudy, it might be sunny soon. This light pointing at me, my hair light, out of the shot. Red over here, tungsten bulb over there. Deal with it. Deal with it, asshole. So basically, I'm in love with the Fuji XT4 and the 100-400. It brings me joy every day. I go out to mountains of Guadapope and I get birds. Robins, red-winged shoulder birds that turn and hide the red. It's rude. So I figure by the 1.4 times teleconverter, you don't lose much quality. That brings me into like 1,000+ mils in slow motion. How could you pass that up? It's not too heavy. My buddy also lent me his 2 times teleconverter, so I've had a couple days to play with both, and I was using his 2 times, and out in the field I took a shot of this waterfall, and then I took the teleconverter off and then zoomed 2 times in post, and it looked to me like identical, maybe without the teleconverter was even sharper. So I was like, well, what's the point of this thing? But I might have missed focus. It was windy. There was dogs barking, distracting me. So we did a studio test here. Okay, on your left, we have the 1.4 times teleconverter, ISO 6400. This is 4K 60p. And on the right, no teleconverter. And because I can open my aperture more, because the 1.4 times you lose a stop. So we're at like 5.6 on the right and 28 on the left. Now when we punch in on it, 1.4 times on the right to match the crop, I'm not seeing, like, it looks like not having the teleconverter is sharper, but it's like, it's undetectable to the human eye. I don't know, you tell me, I don't even know what I'm looking at. We have to go into a 5.5 times crop to even see. And it appears, when I go full screen, I can see little lines in the 35 on the teleconverter, whereas I can't see those without it. So that's what I'm basing it on. I think it's slightly sharper to have the 1.4 times teleconverter instead of zooming in post. So it does have some value, but you add weight, a lot of money, and your ISO's worse. But what if, instead of stopping the aperture open, we instead keep the apertures the same? Because when you stop down from a 5.6 to 8 on every lens, it gets sharper. So we've done that now. The teleconverter is at a forced Tony 8. We stopped it down to match it. Still, it's hard to see. If you zoom right in there, 5.5, it's like, which is sharper? They're almost identical now. Maybe, I still think the teleconverter slightly edges it. The 4 has some lines where I'm not seeing it without the teleconverter. We'll get to some actual footage soon. I just want to go over the science first, but really out in the field, if you're on a sunny day, I'm not losing ISO really. All that's happening is I go from my unreasonable 4,000th of a shutter to a somewhat respectable like 2,000th with the converter on. So it does nothing but benefit me unless it's cloudy or you're taking pictures and you have to use your shutter. Oh my God, the ISO is cranked. But for video, for the most part, I'm not seeing a lot of downsides, but like barely worth it. When it comes to the 2 times teleconverter, same thing. Look at that ISO difference now, because we're losing 2 stops of light. If you punch in on it, 2 times crop to match, it's looking to me like the non-teleconverter is sharper, but don't quote me on it. Don't you dare quote me on it. But when we punch right in on it, 7.5 times crop, okay, I see the lines in the 3, on the teleconverter. So what we're concluding, same basic thing with the 1.4 times. If you're to zoom in post 2 times to match it, the teleconverter's still slightly sharper. So you have some reasons to get it. It's just so barely worth it at all. And last little science test, this is 240 frames per second HD. There you have that. I'm not sure what I'm seeing. It still looks like teleconverter a little sharper. All right, let's look at some of the footage from the 1.4 times. I went out yesterday, bright sunny day. I got some pretty epic footage actually. And I do a little side by side with no converter within the ducks. You'll see it, but I'm working on a new song. I'm gonna just throw it in here. Let's listen and enjoy. You skip this section, I will hunt your mom. Don't quote me on this, but when I saw that side-by-side duck footage, I was like, does the 1.4 times teleconverter give you more tonne? I think it does, but I don't know. I don't remember if I didn't stop down on the non-teleconverter once I switched. Maybe I didn't change the aperture. Sometimes it doesn't change automatically and then you're stuck at 28, you forget to stop it down. Up. Well, stop. I stopped your mom. But the turtle looks like he has more tonne, but he did move ever so slowly towards me. So I don't know what happened there. But like for the most part, like imperceivable differences here. Okay, that actually made me want to test the tonne. So here's my least scientific test ever conducted. 1.4 times teleconverter on your left. No teleconverter, but zoomed in 1.4 times, and I'm not seeing a tonne increase on either. Exposure isn't matched. That's me sucking at my job, but no tonne change. To further confirm it, we have a Bob Ross test holding it, shaky, not sure if it's in focus, and then measuring the tonne. 1.4 times crop on the right. They look the same. No tonne increase with the teleconverter. And you cannot get closer focusing distance. And I haven't even mentioned like the autofocus is worse if you plan on using that. And the stabilization, I haven't noticed a difference. It probably is slightly worse or better. Better with the teleconverter somehow. The algorithms outdo themselves. So this kind of kills a lot of dreams of mine. Like I was thinking GH6 with the Leica 50 to 200, and you would need a teleconverter to make it better, but maybe Panasonic's teleconverter is better than Fuji's. Maybe Fuji's is just not that good. I only have experience with Fuji and Sony's 2x. I liked the Sony 2x for the sharpness. Autofocus seemed fine too, it was just jittery. It introduced micro jitters, and that annoyed me, even in slow-mo. So that hurts. So you need to go 200 to 600, and I kind of want full frame. I'm not gonna lie to you, I miss it. What I've learned from this experiment is just don't mess around with this stuff. Use your native lens and don't go outside that ballpark. Teleconverters, they mess things up. Adapted glass, filters on the front doing weird things. Just stick with the truth of what the camera company intended you to do with it. The native glass made by Sony for Sony. Fubu, remember them? For us, by us. They made black people clothes. I bought a shirt once. I wore it to school. So I'm probably gonna sell my 1.4x converter. I'm not seeing, maybe I'll keep it. I'll try it a couple more times. But I'm not in a rush to sell it, but it seems stupid to spend money for heavier glass and barely have a difference perceivable to turtles. So, you do you. There will be affiliate links available for you in your terrible purchasing decisions down below. And tonne shirts are in the shop. They increase the tonne of whatever you film. Buy something. Then subscribe and thumb up the video. Emphasis on the buy something.